Hi guys, I'm Savannah. I'm 22, and this is a story about how I traded boyfriends with my twin sister, Sophie. Hey, that's me. I'm 22 too. Yeah, Sophie, duh. They know how old you are. I just said we were twins. Now let me tell the story. Whatever. You're the one who forgot to ask them to subscribe. Oh yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. So, Sophie and I get asked all the time if the best thing about being a twin is being able to disguise ourselves as each other and mess with people. And the answer is yes. On a scale of 1 to awesome, it's super awesome. When we were younger, we used to get a kick out of things like taking each other's yearbook photos and confusing our dad until he'd get a headache and let us have internet time an extra hour or two. I think the most absurd thing from our teenage years was the time we traded boyfriends to see if they could tell if we kissed differently or not. And they couldn't tell a thing. Growing up with a twin was awesome. But we went to different schools for college, and we started to grow in different directions. We stayed in touch, but not like before. You know, if I'm being honest, I think it was boys. It was totally boys. Anyways, like I was saying, I had started dating this guy, Anton, who was this really brainy type who probably took things too seriously. He was a little older, a graduate student who was lecturing in film history, and I was mad crushing on him when we first met. I just thought he was so smart and mature. But one spring break, when Sophie and I were catching up, she noticed that I sounded uptight. I knew it was Anton's influence. But then again, Sophie was dating this absolute cornball who was like hanging out with a middle school kid. His name was Otto, and to Otto, everything was a punchline, and he couldn't stay focused on one topic to save his life. So maybe Sophie was the one being influenced. Let me tell you about Otto. Anton may be wicked smart, but Otto's wicked fun. The first time he told me his name, I laughed at him because I didn't believe him. He said his mom gave birth in a car, which is why they named me Otto. You know, like automobile? Get it? Okay, so he was pretty corny, but he was also really lovable. Some say potato, some potato. Anton asked me to accompany him to this series of silent movies. I went to the first one, and OMG, it was torture watching these old, pointless movies and talking to his old, pointless friends. But I loved Anton, and I didn't want to hurt his feelings. At the same time, I couldn't imagine sitting through one of those snooze fest screenings again, and I certainly couldn't survive a whole series. Sometimes I wished I was more like Sophie. She was into that artsy stuff, but I couldn't stand it. That was it! I found my solution. So I get a call out of nowhere, and Savannah's like, hey, want to switch boyfriends again? She told me about Anton's film series, and I thought it sounded interesting enough, so I told her I was down like a clown. Savannah came by that morning so she could brief me on the event. She told me how she had already met most of his colleagues and their names and stuff like that. But then she started telling me about herself like I wasn't her twin. And I told her to relax, I had this. That night, I met up with Anton at this old art house theater. I knew that Savannah was a bit more uptight these days, so I refrained from inappropriate jokes. And I tried not to have too many complimentary champagnes. This film he showed was about this guy who was trying to travel to the moon, and it wasn't so bad. His friends were fine, and everything was going well. But after the screening, one of Anton's professor buddies was asking me who awarded the scholarship Savannah got last fall. I froze. I had no idea about Savannah's scholarship. And the more I thought about it, I couldn't remember what she was majoring in. Landscape architecture. Duh. Well, I couldn't think of it at the time, and I excused myself. I didn't mean to freak out, but the realization that I didn't know my twin anymore was like a splash of water in my face. Savannah and I had been pulling the old switcheroo since like forever, and it was so easy before. What happened to us, I wondered. I was also freaking out because I thought I was going to blow Savannah's cover. And I didn't know what I was going to say to Anton if he asked about our classes or something. So I called Savannah. When she called me, she was blubbering. I was not blubbering. Well, it sure sounded like it. Anyways, Sophie was upset because she felt like she didn't know me anymore and wanted to find out my major. But we had bigger problems. See, we switched phones earlier because Anton might try to text me during the event or something. Well, anyways, I had Sophie's phone, and Otto kept calling and texting. And I thought I knew how to act like her, so I called him back. But when we were on the phone, he said I sounded different. Of course, I tried to play it off, but then Otto said he wanted to come by. And I was going to try to rush over to Sophie's apartment to meet him, but I realized I didn't have a key. So I tried to stall him, but he was already at her place, and he said he knew I was lying, and he was asking where I was. So I told him about the silent film screening. Boy, I sure mucked everything up, and I was desperately trying to find a way to cover our tracks. Well, it was too late. Because before I got off the phone, I heard Otto outside the restroom. He was looking for me and calling my name. Apparently, Otto came to the conclusion that I was cheating on him. Well, then Anton saw us arguing and came over. It was like watching a house of cards fall. They stepped outside and got in each other's faces. Anton kicked Otto in the shin. I had to stop things before there was a full-on blowout. I told Anton that I wasn't his girlfriend and that nobody was cheating on anybody. Savannah simply thought your movies and friends are boring. You didn't have to say it like that. I was stressed. What do you want? Anyway, I didn't realize that all his friends were standing there. I told them that I liked the movie. And Otto was still trying to figure out who was who on the drive home and was looking at me funny the whole time. The next day, I talked to Anton, who was really hurt. He said that I didn't have to go if I didn't want to, but there was no need to be so deceptive about it. And he was right. You know, sometimes really small lies turn into big problems. There's this saying out there, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we first practice to deceive." I guess we thought some of our trickery was harmless. But we sure never thought it would hurt ourselves. Anton and Otto forgave us both, but it kind of tarnished our reputation. Every once in a while, if I'm in a serious mood, Otto will start calling me Savannah. Oh, and Anton questions me all the time, too. In fact, the only thing I could do was get my hair cut short so Anton could tell the difference. I'm not crazy about it, but it's a small price to pay when rebuilding trust. And we've decided to start spending more time together, too. That way, if Savannah's hair grows out, we can do it again. JK. In all seriousness, guys, be honest out there. And don't forget to say hi in the comments. Tell us about a time that you got tangled up in your lies. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. Remember, when you share our stories, you're sharing wisdom.